You may be over the Kim and Kanye divorce drama, but there's a reason you should be keeping up with their real estate purchases.
Are you gonna be moving to Wyoming, Kim?
Especially that 4,500-acre ranch they own in the middle of Wyoming. The area was home to native tribes like the Cheyenne, Crow, Arapaho, Shoshone, and Ute, before white colonists dubbed it the Cowboy State. Now, in the year 2021, it's being overrun by a whole new brand of settlers, celebrities.
Jackson Hole's always been a place for the wealthy to flock to and have second homes. It's just gotten even crazier recently.
The influx of the ultra-rich is causing housing prices to skyrocket.
It's really putting a squeeze on middle class and the working poor.
So has the Wild West, as in the land, not Kanye, become too expensive for normal people? Pop culture doesn't just impact music charts and box office numbers. It has real-world implications for our lives. I'm Yoonj Kim, and this is The Pop Factor. The rich and famous love Wyoming. In fact, it's got the highest number of billionaires per capita in the entire country. Megastars like Harrison Ford, Sandra Bullock, Jeffree Star, and RuPaul are snatching up real estate across Wyoming, a state known for mud, manure, and manual labor. I first became interested in Wyoming's beautiful hiking trails and rustic lifestyle when I visited back in 2018. It seems down to earth. So when Kim Kardashian bragged about the 14 expensive horses they keep at their Wyoming ranch during the middle of the pandemic, I was shook. And so was Twitter. I started to wonder why so many glamorous Hollywood folks are buying homes in a place so far off the beaten path. As with most things, I just had to follow the money.
Folks from California, New York, these high tax environments, find Wyoming to be quite lucrative because they don't charge an income tax.
Justin Farrell is a born and raised Wyomingite and Yale sociology professor who has studied the effects of the ultra-wealthy on the state.
The fact that, if you have, $100 million and you don't have to pay income tax, that can save you so much money.
Word of Wyoming's tax haven status reached upper-class circles, and it didn't take long for them to make themselves at home in nature.
A billionaire or a celebrity could be sitting in a coffee shop next to you, and you may not even recognize them because of the way that they're dressed.
Josh Flagg is a reality TV star and luxury real estate agent in California who's plugged into the scene.
I don't sell houses I sell here, but when my clients tell me they're moving there, I don't have to ask why. I know.
To save money.
Yeah. Apparently there's very favorable tax laws in Wyoming, which I should probably learn more about myself, but I don't ever want to leave Los Angeles.
With Jackson Hole and Wyoming in general, when would you say this trend started of people from LA and celebrities starting to move there?
Jackson Hole's always been a place for the wealthy to flock to and have second homes and whatnot. It's just gotten even crazier recently.
Right. And the fact that they don't have an income tax, is that well known when you sell to celebrity clients or when you talk to your friends about it?
Well, it is now.
Jackson Hole is Wyoming's celebrity hotspot located in Teton County, which has the highest per capita income in America, and where the median price of a home is over $2.5 million. It also has the worst income inequality in the country. So the fact that residents don't pay an income tax like the rest of the country seems odd. Why doesn't Wyoming have an income tax?
Well, they've relied so heavily on the fossil fuel industry and energy production. Most people don't know that it's one of the biggest energy producing states for the rest of the US in terms of coal, oil, and gas. And so they just haven't had to bring in income from other sources.
Wyoming is a fossil fuel state that produces 40% of the country's coal. But as Americans seek more sustainable forms of energy, fossil fuel revenues have dipped. Couple that with the state's refusal to collect taxes from its wealthy residents, and it's a recipe for disaster.
As a state, it's so culturally and politically anti-tax, and so they just despise taxes no matter what, even if it harms the state and its people.
Right, so it sounds like it's a lot of Republicans running the state.
Yeah, and it's gotten much more conservative. The odd thing is that places like Jackson Hole are the most liberal and the only liberal pocket of the state. They're still not willing to tax that population. It's really putting the squeeze on middle class and the working poor.
Meanwhile, lawmakers are proposing drastic cuts to state services like public education and housing, which is a big problem since, despite its glitzy image, not everyone in town is a millionaire.
I lived in my Subaru for 5 years, and then I leveled up and got a van.
Like Claire, a local housing activist who moved to Jackson Hole a few years ago for work. She fell in love with its stunning natural beauty, but she soon realized there was a lack of affordable housing.
For a studio, you're looking at $1,800 plus, and those are on the lower end of the spectrum.
Claire's personal struggle with housing inspired her to get involved with Shelter JH, a nonprofit dedicated to addressing the housing crisis in Jackson Hole.
What we're trying to do at Shelter is build a movement, and there are resources here that build housing and provide housing, and we're attacking the problem at its root, and we see that as policy. We are the only housing advocacy organization in the Valley, which is shocking to me considering the amount of disparity that exists here in the housing sector.
Would you say one of the solutions is to ask celebrities to stop coming to Jackson Hole, to stop buying property there?
That's hard because a lot of the people make their living off of tourists coming here, and there are a lot of people who make their living off of building these enormous 10,000 square foot mansions.
What's your solution then? How do we approach this?
I think where the chance for change lies is just balancing those priorities more delicately.
I'm not one to say that everyone needs to pack up and leave, but if you look at some solutions, it starts with taxes, and just having a tax in general, like most states have, it could raise hundreds of millions of dollars to fund basic health services, basic education, instead of slashing it to the bone. It's not really a complex economic problem. It's more an ideological problem and really a moral problem about what do we want our communities to look like. Everybody needs to work together to solve these problems.
Cool, so the dream isn't totally dead yet.
It's not dead.
There's perhaps no dream more American than wanting a home of your own. Whether it's a little house on the prairie or a condo in the city, affordable housing should be accessible to everyone, regardless of how rich or famous they are. And if that involves the privileged paying their fair share, is that really so much to ask? I'm Yoonj Kim, and that's the Pop Factor.